I honestly think people are just living on the edge. Okay. I think people are just so stressed out. You have Karens too, which we're going to talk about in this video. But I think people have just so much and they're mentally not strong enough, not adapted to where they should be to handle what's going on. Okay. Because you see a lot of people, they're just a little unhinged now. Okay. Where it's just too much. And I'm not talking about like they're stressed out at work. And I'm talking about like, let's say they are at work and they're in a customer facing position. These people, I'm going to get some grease and I'm going to throw it on you. What? I'm going to just spit on you. Whether it is the worker, or it be the customers. Where the customers talk to you like you're trash. They don't think they need to listen to anything you're saying. You tell them, well, I'm sorry, we're at capacity. No, you're not. And then they try to go up in there. You go and tell them, yo, you got to fill out your medical history. Let's say you're at a doctor's office. You got to fill out your medical history. No, I don't. Okay. It's like people are just getting angry over the slightest things. Oh, you didn't give me enough mustard. So you shoot somebody? And then, of course, that goes into the whole, people shouldn't be having all these guns like that. Anyways, but you just see people are just getting more and more unhinged. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and look at an elderly woman who shoots a man in the face with a flare gun. Okay. And this is in a retirement community. I did a video 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago, where this was in a retirement community, y'all. And it was a crazy love triangle. The woman, it was a woman. She was with this guy that was in a wheelchair and they started whatever. And then, but she used to, not still, but used to talk to this other guy who he wasn't in a wheelchair. It was just other older dude. She was talking to him and then she was like, yeah, deuces, I'm good. And then she started talking to the guy in the wheelchair and they're talking about the bam. And then he goes and gets a gun and he starts trying to shoot. Well, he's not trying, he shoots. And then the guy in the wheelchair got the gun. And it's like, what? So child, let's take a look at this.
Wild door cam footage shows the moment an elderly Long Island woman shot her neighbor in the face with a flare gun during an argument inside a gated retirement community. Kathleen Schumann, 76, is accused of shooting her 67-year-old neighbor outside their homes at the Belmont Vistas Senior Apartments in West Babylon on Monday evening. The victim, identified by NBC New York as Richard Catrone, could be seen walking his dog in the complex just outside the suspect's home. After she emerged from her apartment, Schumann then fired the flare gun at Catrone's face at point-blank range. Catrone told the outlet that the woman showed, quote, no emotion. She claimed I was the devil, that I tried to murder her, he said. Police did not disclose what sparked the dispute or why Schumann may have had a flare gun on hand. However, according to neighbors who spoke to NBC New York, Schumann and Catrone have been butting heads for some time over their pets. One neighbor claims that Catrone has been harassing Schumann over her house cat, claiming it was bothering his dog. According to Catrone, all he asked was for Schumann to keep her cat inside, and that, quote, started the situation, he told the outlet. Schumann has been arrested and charged with assault. Both she and Catrone were treated in the hospital, officials said. The Belmont Vistas, a gated apartment complex for residents 55 years and older, is marketed as a quiet community, but neighbor-on-neighbor violence can occur almost anywhere. As the saying goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. In some cases, they might just be your neighbor. In April, a man in Miami Beach was arrested for attacking his 75-year-old neighbor using a bike wheel over an argument about trash placement. And these incidents aren't just stateside. In the UK, back in 2021, a man hurled a pair of gardening shears at his neighbor's head after one noticed their neighbor was sitting in the other's car. These caught-on-camera attacks can even boil over to the point of no return, stemming from nearly any petty reason. In one worst-case scenario, 3 people were left dead after an argument over something as trivial as snow shoveling. Disturbing video captured the dramatic clash between a man and his neighbors shoveling snow in Pennsylvania that escalated to a murder-suicide in 2021.
So, as you've just seen, this all started because the man said, "Can you keep your house cat in the house? Why not just keep your cat in the house? Because then you would be mad if his dog was roaming around, right?" So, I got a neighbor who loves to have their animals just run amok. And they got this one cat, cats out here all the time, everything, okay? Trying to get in people's garages. It's a friendly cat, but still, you know what I mean? If I wanted a cat, I would have bought a cat. So this cat just be roaming around. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so friendly, da 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 da," and then no one says anything about it, and the cat's just roaming. So then I ended up finding out that we have another neighbor who got like these, I don't know if they're Siberian Huskies, but they got like 3 of these dogs. They're like white dogs. I think some of them have black in them, but they're like mostly white fluffy dogs. Big, big dog. And they're like outside all the time. These people don't take care of these animals. You could tell. But they're outside all the time and they're just barking constantly. Okay. And apparently we found out that the neighborhood cat that's supposed to really be inside your house, because it actually is a rule not to have them out, we later find out that cat died. How? The cat jumped the fence, got over there by them. The fence, they're not that big of fences, okay? But somehow, some way, the cat jumped the fence, got all the way over there, and then the dogs killed it. So she's like, "Oh, I can't believe it happened." It's like, well, where was the cat? Oh, it was on their property in their backyard. Huh. So don't you think that that's a part of being a responsible pet owner, right? But this is also the same people who got 15, 16 dogs, not even exaggerating, who was living at one point at that house. Okay. And then some other stuff. It was a hot mess. Okay. And then every day, like every other day, that's why I don't walk around the neighborhood. Every other day, the dog is just getting loose. And however many other dogs they got in that house, constantly getting loose. Where people are saying, yeah, you're like the neighborhood nuisance, essentially, because of this. But getting back to this video, that a lot of the stuff that was mentioned in here, these are simple requests. Just keep your animal inside the house, boom, whop the bam. No issue, right? It shouldn't be well, I gotta go and get vengeance. I gotta get my flare gun. No, you don't have to get a flare gun. Okay, you don't have to do any of that. You just have to keep your animal in your house. I'm over here shoveling. Well, why are you shoveling right now? It's like, come on, y'all. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of y'all need some psychological help. A lot of y'all need to be institutionalized, because if something like that, someone telling you to be a responsible pet owner, pick up your animal's crap, and you're like, "Oh, nope, I gotta beat somebody up." I think you need some help, honestly, because it's just being decent. This is literally decency. It's just being a decent human being, a decent pet owner. And you can't even do that. Now, it's one thing if your dog is barking inside your house. That's different. But it's another thing when you bring the dog outside the house and the dog is barking for hours outside the house. We just bring the dog inside the house. Well, no, I don't want to hear it. Then don't have the dog. You know what I mean? But just looking at this, it's unfortunate that this kind of stuff happened. Obviously, the guy's very lucky that he was able to survive it, because I never really knew. I know what flare guns look like, but I never seen someone get hit by a flare gun. Okay, and he has a pretty good amount of damage on his face. But you have your Karens, and it's crazy that this happened in retirement community, considering the fact that these are supposed to be, like the news anchor said, these are supposed to be calm, peaceful, quiet communities. They're not supposed to be out here, angry, loud, deadly, violent. You know what I mean? It's just really crazy what's going on. And this is something I'm noticing has been accelerating rather rapidly. But let me know what you all think about this down below.